Albers, and welcome to This Week in Anderson. And as always, joining me is my co-host, Steve Ellis. And Steve, super excited, number one. We're back on it again. It's been a little bit. We had a little bit of a hiatus. Steve's deep into basketball season right now and just kind of everything that we had going on. But super excited to have our first guest of this year. And unbelievable, she's going into the Anderson High School Hall of Fame. So, Steve, I'm excited to have Maria on here. Great athlete. Her stats are unbelievable, and rightfully going into the Anderson Hall of Fame. So it's going to be fun to catch up with Maria.
It's super cool to talk to her because I want to talk about all these stats that she had. But I remember I was one of the assistant coaches when she was there at for the boys team, and I'm telling you, she could have played on the boys team.
Yeah,
she was that good.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to get to talk to her and catch up.
Yeah, so it's going to be fun. So as we said, joining us is Maria Bennett. I don't want to mess up the last. Is it Maria
Duggins now? Yeah.
Okay. So again, thank you so much for joining us. I know you got a busy schedule and everything, so thank you for joining us.
I am absolutely honored that you guys would even reach out to have me on this. So thank you guys.
No problem. So we always kind of do these things. We always want to start off and just talk about, growing up in Anderson, let everybody know like where you grew up, some of the things that you did when you were, young and growing up.
Yeah, absolutely. I moved to Anderson when I was 9 years old. We were in Norwood until then. And then I started going to Air Elementary and, Nagel and all the popular schools, right?
Yeah.
We lived right down the street from Air. My parents still live there. So just about a mile away from Anderson High School.
So nice. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's we finally have someone on Steve's side because usually when we do these, it's always been on the Summit side or so yeah. Steve finally gets to get an Air Apple or whatever. I don't know. Were you guys still called the Apples or what were they called? I don't even know.
I think it was Apples, right?
But it's Falcons now, but we're still Apples.
Yeah, old school Apples.
So, one of the questions I always like to ask, you said your family moved here from Norwood.
Yeah.
Do you have an idea from your family of why you guys decided to come to Anderson area?
Yeah, absolutely. I can remember it from when I was younger, but also obviously I've talked a lot to my parents about it. And when we lived in Norwood, for quite some time. My parents grew up around that area, but then they noticed kind of a shift in the neighborhoods. It wasn't as family friendly, a lot more violence going on. And while we lived on a fantastic street with lots of families, we started seeing people kind of slowly move. And so it was just a priority to my parents that, we went to a city or an area that was, safe and had good school systems. Yeah. And Norwood wasn't quite living up to their expectations at the time.
Yeah, right. Maria, that's funny that you say that because same thing with my family. My family all grew up in Norwood.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, lived in Norwood. And again, back then, Norwood was a great place to live and be kind of the same thing. My mom and dad did the same thing and moved over to Summit. I think we moved back in the early 70s. I want to say 71, 72, somewhere around in there. So kind of a similar story with you, coming from Norwood and, it's that decision that my parents made was an awesome decision. So I'm kind of think for you too, I'm sure, going from Norwood, seeing what that was like and then coming over here to Anderson.
Definitely. I was very grateful that they had made that decision. Maybe when we were that age, we didn't fully, understand, but looking back, I would have done the same thing for my family.
Yep.
So you moved here, you said when you were 9?
Yes.
Okay. So when you got here, had you already started playing basketball or other sports, or was it when you first got here?
I had already started playing basketball. My mom and dad have jokingly argued about who got me into basketball. I'll take that credit. But my mom coached a little basketball team for me, 5, 6 years old when, the game is insanely chaotic to watch, right? Travels, So it started from a really early age, and I had played a couple of years. My dad, when we still lived in Norwood, noticed that I had such a strong interest in basketball. So he made a little basketball hoop and leveled out our backyard in the dirt, and so I started learning from a very young age.
Wow. So you didn't like when you moved to Anderson, you didn't play any other sports. You weren't interested. You were just all basketball.
I was all basketball.
That's all right.
I think I tried soccer. I'm not naturally. I've always say that I've learned a skill and that I've gotten good at the skill, but I'm not naturally athletic, and height isn't on my side. I'm 5'8". I can't run very fast. I can't jump very high. So anytime I tried another sport, I remember I tried soccer. After one day, I was like, no, not for me. I also am I'm not going to do anything that I don't think I can be the best at.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm like, I'm done. I'm not going to do this. I'm not getting second place.
All right, go ahead, Steve.
So you got to Nagel. You were at Nagel, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because we asked that, and a lot of guests we've had on there was Forest Hills Junior High and stuff like that. But you were at Nagel. So talk about how that process was when you first started, when you got to Nagel and trying out for the basketball team. How many were there, and maybe who your coaches were, if you can remember?
So that's actually pretty interesting because I went to Nagel, but I did not play for Nagel, which didn't make the coaches very happy, but it wasn't my intention. I ended up going to and playing for St. Thomas More, which is a small Catholic school off Beachmont Avenue.
Yep.
My parents saw a lot more competition in the CYO league. So
probably like 20 more games too.
Yeah, a lot more games too. And we built great relationships there. So we just were going to kind of try it out for a season. And then we saw how unique it was. Because, in the Catholic school system, you're often there K through 8th. So the bond that's created with the players when you're playing with each other from 3rd grade to 8th grade is pretty significant.
Okay. All right. So you were at St. Thomas More once you moved to Anderson.
I was going to Nagel, but I was playing for St. Thomas More. I never went to St. Thomas More. We were just a part of their parish. Right.
Wow.
That's crazy. I don't think I've not heard that one yet. That's crazy.
I know.
Do you remember who your coach was?
Rick Perry. His name's Rick Perry.
Rick Perry.
I think
his daughter went to Mount Notre Dame. She was a great soccer player. She went on to play college soccer, but yeah.
Wow.
So was that so that was both? I mean, the whole time was at St. Thomas More. So you never ever went to Nagel and played at Nagel. It was always St. Thomas More, and then you went right into high school.
Yeah, I started playing in St. Thomas More in 3rd grade, so I ended up just staying there the whole time. It didn't seem like it made much sense if I had already played there for a few years, and we had built up a good team to go off and play at Nagel.
That's pretty cool. That's cool. So talk about that then, that transition, going from, I guess, St. Thomas More, going into high school. Obviously, you're a 4-year starter, coming in as a freshman. Talk a little bit about starting obviously varsity basketball as a freshman and what that was like for you, and then also who your coach was.
Yeah, my coach was Chris Carletti. Absolutely great guy. We are still in contact. I still check up on him every once in a while just to see how he's doing. And it's been really cool we didn't connect for many years, and then we started at least checking in, and he's just been incredible, honestly. Right. Especially because when I was there, I wouldn't say we had the best coach to athlete relationship, and that was definitely on my fault. That was on my side. I had quite an attitude, and and Carletti wouldn't care for me to say this. He had, he was tough. He had a little attitude too. So we definitely butted heads. But going in as a freshman at Anderson when I went was incredibly intimidating and difficult because you had Allison Lupariello, Loopy there, who was a great player, went on to play at Drexel, I think. And then who else did we have? Alex Cluse and Jennifer Williams, Lindsay Brewer, good basketball players that had created, honestly, a very solid team. So I remember coming on as a freshman and Jennifer Williams trying to get me to mop the floor before practice.
Oh, no.
She was like, "I think the floor needs mopped." I'm like, where am I?
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
She was obviously giggling through it, but yeah, it was pretty intimidating, and obviously the competition went up because you're not just playing girls, your age or a year older, you're playing girls that are getting ready to graduate high school.
Yeah, and looking at obviously, your stats, you love to shoot the three. It's got quite obvious. You got 5 school records in regards to 3-pointers, 3-point leader in the city, your sophomore, junior, and senior years, and you're the all-time leader in Anderson High School history with 219 3-pointers. That is absolutely amazing, and that is a great stat. And talk about like that, going from your freshman year, transitioning, and then what was it about the 3-point line? I know that's a big thing, with everybody, but was that something that you just practice outside the 3-point line all the time, or was that just part of your game?
Absolutely focus on the 3-point shot. I say it to my kids all the time, and the coach teams that we coach, that shooting a 3-point shot should not be given to everybody on the team. It is earned. It is earned outside of the gym too. You have to be putting in that effort yourself. So I knew that with my lack of athleticism, that I needed a skill that could take me to the next level and could lift me above other players that maybe were more athletic than me. So I loved to shoot, and my dad poured his life outside of work into teaching me to shoot the basketball. And he didn't play basketball himself, so he would teach himself once he saw that I had such a knack for it. He would watch videos. We'd watch videos together. He taught me the importance of form shooting. It was an every day of my life. Form shooting, floor shooting, sleeping with my basketball, just all of the above. And I honestly loved the process, and I really trusted my dad that he would direct me in the right way. And when I started to see the fruit of the practicing and being able to shoot threes at a young age at 8 and 9 on my AAU teams, when kids are still chucking the ball up from their hip, I'm shooting with proper form. I'm tiny, but still able to get the ball up. So I have always been in love with the 3. I'm still in love with the 3.
That's awesome.
Wow. So when your freshman year, you come in, you mentioned some of the players. You said potentially a little intimidating, but when did you realize, at what point did you realize that you belonged there, and that you were just as good, and that you were heading towards a 4-year run at Anderson that was going to be incredible? When did you realize that?
I honestly think that it was when I came from being on the bench to starting as a freshman. Okay. I felt like, okay, I'm not just somebody that they can kind of come in and, amp it up for a couple of minutes. I can make a key difference in this game with top level players, and I deserve to be on the court. I didn't feel at the time I deserved to be on the court, but looking back, it's like, that was kind of Carletti telling me, like, you deserve to be on the court with these girls. I need you to step up.
Yep. Go prove it. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So from your freshman year to sophomore to junior, your confidence level just continued, and you still had some good talent around you, but you were still obviously, based on the records, being able to produce and continue to get better, right?
Yeah, I think that. So I only played with Loopy for a year, which that was a great year. I learned a lot from her, and she was tough, just very tough. Yeah. She was one of those players that pushed you to be harder, or to go harder, and to be your best, because she wasn't going to be joking around during practice. She was very serious and, to the point. So she pushed me to be better. But then once she graduated, I saw the need of somebody needing to step up in the guard position. While we had good guards, losing Loopy was, a big deal. So we needed somebody to step up, and I felt like that confidence just kind of came on me to do that.
Well, what were some of the records for those teams?
My first year, I can't remember the exact record. We were a 20-win season.
Wow.
For the first year. I think I have to make sure. Okay. But I really do think that we were really good that season. And then losing Loopy and Jennifer Williams, Lindsay Brewer, I'm trying to think of who else. but just off the top of my head, that was very difficult for us. So as far as scorers go, my sophomore year, it was me, Alex Cluse, and Sarah Folkers. And we had a lot of other great players on the team, but their role wasn't typically scoring the ball. So we struggled a little bit after losing them.
Yeah. Wow. So your junior and senior year, you're not only successful on the court, but you're getting rewarded for it. You're all city, I believe, your junior and senior year, and all state, at least your senior year, and making a city all-star team, which I'm not even sure they do that anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. That's so fun.
Maybe they do, but we'll talk about the all-star team because, obviously that's mainly the best of the best, and where that was and what that experience was.
Yeah. So the all-star game was amazing. It was so much fun, and there was just no pressure. And that game was so wild because I rarely went a day without having a ball in my hands. But my parents saw after season, like, you need to take a little break. Just take a couple of weeks off. You can shoot around, but let's just take a break. So I went into the all-star game having not touched a basketball really for 2 weeks.
Oh, no.
And I ended up 9 for 13 from 3. I'll never forget it. Never. I swear it was just fun. I was just like shooting. I was shooting from logo. I'm like,
that's awesome.
Where did they play that at?
Gosh, I can't remember the gym that we were at. I want to say it was on the west side.
Really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And Danny had mentioned some of the records at Anderson, but you have some state records as well. Is that right?
Yes, I believe that I do. My mom knows those stats better than I do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it's the 3-pointers.
Yes, 3-pointers. Right. I think it's the yearly 3-pointer and season.
I've got down here, you got career 3-pointers with 219, 3-pointers in a game with 8, 3-point percentage in a career at 37.1%, going 219 for 591. It's pretty impressive. So those are some of the ones that that's getting it done right there.
Thank you. I honestly lost that. That just shocked me. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Who were the assistant coaches with Carletti when you played?
John Raymond and Jim Fay.
John Raymond. Yeah.
You can't get much better than those guys.
Was there too for at least part of my time.
Yeah. Who was that?
Keith Starks.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Well, John and Jim, I mean, can't get much better than those guys.
You definitely can't. The absolute best of the best. And they had a lot of love, grace, and patience for me.
Yeah, that's fun. So let's get into life after high school. Obviously, great shooter, everything that's going on. Talk a little bit about the recruiting process. We love hearing all these stories with, the guys that we had way back in the 70s and all that. Some of the stories, the recruiting's not like it is today with the NIL money, all that stuff. So talk a little bit about the recruiting, how that went, who were some of the schools that were involved, and ultimately the decision that you made.
Yeah, I think we need some back pay from NIL.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The recruiting process honestly was it was very pleasant. I don't remember feeling very nervous about it. Just because I knew that I had put in the work and I didn't know any different. Anybody that was interested in me, I was excited about. So I started getting letters, in that freshman year, just saying like, hey, we've been watching you, or hey, we've been watching you. And over the next couple years, and I played AAU since I was 8 years old. So obviously we were in a lot of exposure camps. Scouts would come to those games and some high school games, but really AAU got me a lot of exposure. So I had it boiled down to I had a visit at Boston College and then a visit at Wright State. And I went and visited Wright State and I loved it. We have great facilities at Wright State.
Yep.
The Nutter Center is fantastic, and then our practice facility. And I ended up making a decision before I even went on that visit to Boston College. I still loved being near my family.
Right.
the idea of them not being able to come to a game made me so sad.
Yeah.
So to know at Wright State they could pretty much make every game, unless we were up in Milwaukee or something.
Right.
It sold it for me.
That's awesome. That's a good.
Yeah.
That's a good story right there.
Yeah, the Nuther Center is cool. I mean, there's not a bad seat in that place, and it's but that whole campus is like neat and clean.
It is a great campus. It really is. In my decision making, thinking back on it too, in my decision making, there were a couple. Wright State's obviously a mid-major school. There were a couple schools that were, in the Big Ten or things like that, conferences like that showed some interest. I always felt like while those might be great, that Wright State was such a good fit with the style of play and also the opportunity to really get playing time and to not sit the bench behind these 5'10", 5'11" shooting guards.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you're saying that a lot, you hear a lot of or you still see a lot of the athletes today that when they do signing day, they want to sign with the big school.
Yeah.
Don't realize that, like you just said, you're probably going to sit behind somebody, all that stuff. So I think that's a great thing for people out there to listen to and to hear that, you did it for a bunch of reasons. Family, wanted your family to be there. And then also you saw the opportunity that you're going to play at a good school.
Yeah, definitely.
When did you make your decision? Was it before your senior year, or when was that process?
Before my senior year, yeah.
Oh, so you could relax and just go play?
In my mind, I was thinking I better have a great year or else they're not going to want me out.
They're going to know.
Right. I know. That's just the way my mind works. So I was like, I better have a great year. I could relax there.
So I know you played AAU, but transitioning from high school to Wright State, what was the speed of the game like for you? Was it pretty easy for you, or was there a transition period where you had to adjust?
Excuse me. There was a huge transition period. It was, all levels of college sports are intense, but when you are at that Division I level, just from my experience, these athletes are just no joke. It's just really difficult to compete with athletically, which is why I knew I had to continue to hone in on my skills and the reason why I was recruited, which was to make threes. So it was definitely a transition period. The hardest part for me, though, was the schedule. I think I called my parents 2 weeks after that summer session and was like, pick me up. I said, there is no way people can do this. I don't believe it. Just from the conditioning until you throw up, the conditioning until your teammate passes out, you're just like, this is crazy. Plus going to school, like all your classes and keeping up. So I think that more so than athletically, it was just such an adjustment, academically and also just with my schedule.
Yeah. Well, you obviously had a good run there at Wright State. Talk a little bit about playing there and maybe some of the big schools that you might have played against or big players you might have played against.
Yeah, we played against, I don't know if you guys remember the name, Sammy Perales from Ohio State. We played against her.
Yep.
We got absolutely destroyed. Which, going into it, you're like trying to think like, yeah, let's compete. But in your head, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
We played Dayton, we played Ohio State. And then the biggest one in our conference was Wisconsin Green Bay, that women's team. I mean, they made, I'm pretty sure almost all 4 years that I was at Wright State, they made the Sweet 16.
Oh, wow.
They were a great team. So we competed with them. There were games where, they really got us, but then there were games where we were neck and neck and it was down to the last couple minutes. So we played against some really incredible athletes, but I would say that playing against Ohio State was the big one.
Yeah. Did you play? Oh, sorry. Was that at Ohio State?
Yes, it was. Or I'm trying to think if that was at a tournament or if that was at Ohio State. It was at Ohio State, yeah.
So was that the coolest place you played in?
Yeah, I would say so. I can't think of any other gym. We played a lot of the Horizon League has some smaller gyms.
Yeah.
So honestly, between that and the Nutter Center, those are the two largest gyms.
Yeah. And did you play? You played at NKU, right? Too.
I did my senior year. And I did want to say that before going to the NKU was that one of my favorite times at Wright State was when, and I know you have the shirt on, but when we beat the UC women's basketball team.
Oh, nice.
My junior
Nice.
year, we set a record. Our team had 19 threes that game.
That's awesome. How
Dang.
many did you have?
I had 5 of them, and my teammate had 6 of them.
Wow.
We were 11 of the 19 together. Yeah.
Was that at UC or was that at where was that at? Where did you play that
At
game?
UC, yeah.
At UC. That's
That was
pretty
a big one for us. And at the time, so that was my junior year. We had gotten a new coach, Mike Bradbury. So he coached at UC and Xavier, and so he had coached at UC. So it was a huge one for him.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, talk about that at NKU. Talk a little bit about playing there. The transition from were they both at that time? Were they both in the same league? Weren't they at their Horizon?
No, at the time it was the next year that they went D1, and that was kind of my strategy, I guess you could say. So I didn't have to sit out a year, but still be close to home. So when I transferred from Wright State, which was unexpected, I had the coach that recruited me for 2 years. And then I got a new coach, which I really thrived under his coaching and just his style of play. It was really run and gun. I absolutely loved it. Had a good junior season, but unfortunately, it just did not end well with him and some of the behavior towards the players. But so I decided to transfer, and I knew I didn't want to sit out because the decision was kind of UC was showing some interest, and then NKU. So I just thought how great to play under the great Nancy Winstall.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
How was that? How was that? Was she? I bet you that's pretty awesome.
Nancy is awesome. She was an incredible coach, and it was a great transition. It really was. Now I came into a group of core girls that were seniors, 4 or 5 seniors, that were like, "Who is this girl?" Like this coming from D1. She's coming for 1 year to take my spot, type thing.
Right.
So there was a little bit of tension there, but we ended up all becoming great friends. There's definitely, that's why I say there's definitely that difference between Division I and Division II, just with schedules. There's still high expectations, but it was a little bit more, just a little bit more of a breather in some areas.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, but still incredible competition. I played against great girls, and Nancy is a fantastic coach. She was a fantastic coach.
How much longer did she stay on? I can't remember after that you left. I mean, I knew she was there for a real long time.
Yeah, so I think she coached over 30 or 31 years, and I believe she was done either the year after I left or the next year when they went Division I. Wow. I can't remember if it was right after the next year.
That's pretty cool.
Was that in the other gym, or was the arena already built?
The arena was already built. I came just in time. Yeah.
Just in time for you. Good.
Right.
All right. So let's get down to your family and where you live now, because you're not in town, I believe. That's why we're doing Zoom.
Yeah.
And what you do for a living, and anything you want to talk about your family.
Yeah, awesome. So I married Vaughn Duggins, who was a player at Wright State. He's in the Hall of Fame at Wright State, actually, an incredible athlete.
Awesome.
We met my freshman year, started dating my sophomore year, and then actually after I graduated from NKU, I went and met him overseas where he had been playing for a year.
Wow.
So we lived in Germany for 5 years and in France for 2 years.
Dang.
Incredible. Wow.
It was honestly incredible. He had a great career over there, and we brought two of our kids over. And then after we had our second, we kind of just decided like, okay, it's time to be at home. You know, we've done this long enough. And so came home and had 2 more kids. My oldest is 10 and my youngest is 1.5.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
And where do you live now?
Indianapolis. This is the area that's he from.
What part?
We live about 10 minutes south of Carmel.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Carmel's a great area.
It is a great area.
Yeah. I recently stayed at the it's a great area too. There's all kinds of shops if you're a shopper. I stayed at the Carmichael, or it's a big hotel.
Is it in Carmel?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not sure.
And there's all kinds of outdoor shops.
He doesn't remember because his wife planned this. That's why he has no clue right now. No clue.
That's where it ends, right there.
That's you notice when he threw the shopping part out.
Yeah, sure. If you like that kind of stuff.
I think there's an outdoor basketball court down the street, maybe.
Oh my gosh! You had to make sure there was a sports bar around there so you can watch your sports.
Right, exactly.
That is crazy.
So that's great. So you have the 4 kids, and did you say they're all boys?
Oh, so I have 3 boys and 1 girl. The girl is the 8-year-old. So they're 10, 8, 4, and 1.5.
All right. So are you getting into coaching the kids?
Yes, we are. So we actually have an LLC that was launched a year ago, but has taken off full time, which has been incredible. It's called Temple Fit Athletics, and we coach multiple teams. That we do individual trainings, camps, clinics, group trainings, and coaching as well. So we have right now 4 teams, and then in the spring we'll have 6.
That's awesome.
That is cool. I like that. I like to hear that. That is pretty cool. That then maybe one day, if we keep these podcasts going, we'll have your kids on sometime. How about that?
There we go. That's right. They love basketball. They live in the gym for trainings, you know. And
I wonder where they get that from.
Yeah.
Right. My daughter, funny thing, she's 8, and she loves hearing stories about the past of basketball, and she sleeps with her basketball every night. It's the cutest.
There we go.
Wow, look at that.
Well, and you said you think so that obviously the family's coming in for the Hall of Fame.
Yes,
that'll be good to get to see everybody there, and that'll be fun. It's like I said, it'll be a good time. So we always try to wrap this thing up, and I kind of gave you I kind of let you know a little too late here about the questions we're going to ask you here, but we need your favorite high school memory, college memory, and then maybe a favorite high school teacher.
Okay, so I would say high school memory, just as far as sports goes, was as a freshman, I made the winning basket against Mason. It was the last second shot.
Oh, that's nice.
Game. Carletti actually sent me the video a couple months ago. I asked him if he had anything. I was like, I want to show my kids something, you know?
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
He found it and sent it to me. And it's just so funny in the video because he jumps up and then immediately puts his hands right down.
That's him.
I can't show people that I'm excited.
Right. That's him. Yeah.
And then my college memory would definitely be breaking the 3-point record. I was at 7. I had 7 threes. We were playing Valparaiso, and I looked over in the stands, and my dad was there, and he was like, one more. And it's I knew inside of me that I could do it, and it's just my dad and I have always had a very special relationship, and unfortunately right now he's had Alzheimer's for many years. So basketball is I always say it's just about so much more than basketball to me. You know, every time I'm shooting around, this is why when I'm a coach, people think I'm so intense and crazy because I take the game so seriously. It's so much more than a game. It's, that bonding time for us. So when he looked over at me though, and he said one more, and then I hit it, it was just the most insane. It was just overwhelming. It really was.
I bet. And that's a cool moment that you can share that with your dad and your family and all that.
Yes.
That they're there. And then exactly what you said is being able to play in front of your family. So that's a pretty cool accomplishment.
Yeah, for sure. I just think if I was at a different school somewhere else, they wouldn't have seen that. So.
And we haven't even talked about her sweatshirt she has on.
I was gonna say it.
Yes.
You know what, the Redskins on there. It's funny. John Raymond, when he was sending me some information, he kept putting on there, Lady Redskins, Lady Red. He kept trying to put because we're obviously still Redskins and always will be at heart. But yeah, I gotta love that sweatshirt, and that's pretty cool that you had that on there.
Yeah, this is retro for sure.
I've got some of my Anderson gear in here all over the place in my little studio here. So, well, real quick, what about some favorite teachers you had?
Yeah.
I would say I loved Carletti as a teacher. It's funny because he was tough, but he was soft too. Like he would laugh and smile with you and stuff. So I would say Carletti. If I'm being totally honest, my attitude didn't take me very far in high school with teachers or with coaches. I have since been changed. Now I'm still fiery. If my husband was in here, he'd be like, "Really? Have you?" But I feel like with some of the teachers, I never really had any that I probably fully bonded with and could consider my favorite other than Carletti. And I think it's because he got me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, again, real quick, you just said about your nonprofit. Go ahead real quick. Let everybody know now your nonprofit, what it is, what it's all about again, and so everybody can try to follow along with it.
Oh yeah, no. So it's our LLC, it's our business. It's Temple Fit Athletics. We just we do basketball trainings, and my husband was in ministry for many years, and after basketball, which is a wild change from who we once were. So it was incredible to see that. And then we just wanted to show kids that they can be great competitors while also still glorifying Christ. So just trying to teach them the way on that, and with trainings, with clinics, and with camps and coaching.
I love that. That's an awesome thing. So I'll definitely take a look at that and take a look. But then again, congratulations again on the Hall of Fame. And we're going to see you here obviously in April. Steve and I, we did it a couple years ago. We haven't decided yet if we're going to do it. We usually do a live podcast there at the Hall of Fame. So we might, but a little limited on time with my brother being inducted as well.
Right. So, yeah, you want to focus.
So it's going to be a crazy night. But again, congratulations on that. An unbelievable career. I love it that we get this stuff because I do remember you, and I know Steve does too, but when you get the information and the stats, it really is just truly amazing. And you've had an unbelievable career, and I'm glad that you're going to be honored on that day because it's well deserved.
Thank you. I truly appreciate that. I'm humbled by it for sure. And I know Mr. Ray, John Raymond, has been a huge advocate for me, and I'm just grateful for all the people who have cared and who believed in me and continue to.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it is going to definitely be a great night again. And, if you're out there watching this right now, don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also we're on all the major, Apple, Spotify, all that. Take it, share it with anybody. Love for everybody to share this podcast with anybody out there that was obviously new, Maria, and get it out there. So again, we appreciate it. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up here. So we had a great night catching up with Maria. And so again, for Dan Albers, Steve Ellis, and Maria Bennett Duggins. See, I knew I always kind of I don't want to mess those up. So we appreciate your time. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. So again, thank you for watching This Week in Anderson. Have a good night, everybody.